welcome to Matt's Mindful Meals. Thanks for coming back, and hopefully you've subscribed. And so this week, as you'll know, I asked if people wanted to see corned beef hash or steak casserole and dumplings. Well, the winner was the steak casserole and dumplings. So I've prepped everything because obviously it goes dark quite quick and work didn't go to plan, so I didn't get away on time. However, everything's prepped, so we should be okay to start frying the meat off as soon as I get down there. So the next time you'll see me, I'll be setting everything up and then I'll get frying that steak. So I'll catch you in a bit. Ta-da! Well, I'm back. As you can see, I've got the fire going. Hopefully you've seen that on the time lapse, but we haven't managed to make it before it's gone dark again, because as I said before, it goes dark really quickly here. Took us longer to get here than we thought because the amount of trees that we had to move out of the way or climb under or go the long way around. Absolute nightmare. However, we're here now, the fire's going, so in a couple of seconds we'll get the pan on and then we can get to see that steak sizzling. Catch in a sec. So here we are, finally about to get ready. So first things first, get the pan on. Oh yes, get that nice and hot, and then we can start getting the steak on. So we need a little bit of oil, so I'll just grab hold of that. And the gloves. So the steak that I've got is from the butcher's, and that's been chopped up into small little chunks, and then it's got salt and pepper and ground chili flakes on it, but not too much because I don't want it to be too hot and spicy. You can add that in later if you want to. So I'll start getting this fried off in a few minutes. We'll just let this get nice and hot for now. Almost there. Smell them spices I put on it. A few more seconds. I think we're ready. Oh yes. So as you can see, or hopefully you can see, there's quite a lot of steak that's going into that. So I've got these two new bits of kit from Firebox Stove. It's a little titanium sporks with a little hinge in the middle of it. So I'm giving them a shot for the first time tonight. Hopefully you can hear me above the sound of the sea. Well, I'm here with Dave and Mo tonight, and they're currently setting the tent up. But what I'll do, I'll shout Mo over so he can try and shine a little bit of light on the steak, so hopefully be able to see that. I don't know if you can see it a bit more. You can definitely see me a bit more. Hello! So we'll get this fried off. Oh yes. what I'm going to do, this is going to stick to the pan a little bit. In a couple of minutes I'm going to add some flour on it. And inside that flour I've got some Tubby Tom's steak spice. So it's going to add a little bit more flavour to it. I'm already licking my lips. Oh yes. Right, so I'll just get myself sorted and finish cooking this meat off and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. So I'll need to give this a bit of a stir around. Now if you notice, if you don't rush and you leave it, because it sticks, but it seems as if you take your time, it'll eventually unstick. I don't know how, something to do with protein or something like that. But if you notice now, I can move it around without having to push it off the bottom too much. So it's coming good. Have a check on the fire. Need to put a little bit more wood on. Give me a few seconds. Okay, so as I said, I've got to put that flour in that's got some seasoning in it, and as I said, it's Tubby Tom's steak sauce in some flour. Now that'll help with the sauce later on. But however, it's going to be boiling down for a long time because we've got to finish setting camp up tonight. Mo and Dave have put my tent up for me because I had to crack on with this. So here you go. This is just the seasoned flour. Might look a bit crazy for now, and there's a lot of it. However, it comes into its own when we're making the sauce up a bit later. So I'll get that stirred in. Hopefully be able to hear this because them waves are really noisy. So you see here, I'm just going to try and get all of this to turn into like an unctuous sauce. Now unctuous comes, there was a bloke called Keith Floyd who's a chef in Britain, and while he's cooking this, for the amount of time I've spent cooking this, he'd have probably had about 3 glasses of wine by now. However, we'll make up for that a bit later because we're going to have some wine later on. But being as this is going to be in my little billy can over there for a few hours before we actually eat it, it doesn't have to be cooked all the way through. This is just to start off with a bit of flavour. So I've stirred that round. Give it a little bit of a while. I'm going to have a bit of a smell. Smells like a really, really good cheeseburger. Don't know why, but that's what it smells like at the moment. So I don't know if you can see, it's starting to catch at the bottom, which is perfect for what I want. Okay, because next bit is the secret to it. So you've seen how people make a roux with the flour. It's a similar thing that's happening to here now. It's all catching on the bottom. There's only one way to get that goodness into your food, is by putting water into it. But being as we're out with the Goonie boys, me, Mo and Dave, got something better than water to put in. How about a can of Ossian? Now this is a Scottish beer. It says made from the heart of Scotland. So this is actually made in Perth, which is about an hour and a half further south than where we are. So I'm going to pour this in here, and that's going to make quite a bit of the stock. Oh, check that out. I think that's just the right amount. Yeah, perfect amount. And I will take that home with me. So I'll give this a bit of a stir and then pop it to one side. So I can now feel that the stuff that was stuck onto the bottom of the pan is slightly loosening off. which is perfect because that's where all the flavour is. So all the steak. Oh, yes. It's going to taste stunning. Can you smell this yet, Mo?
Yeah, won't it?
Great. So I'm going to take this off now. And what will happen is all of the bits off the bottom will eventually come off and be within this. Now what we've got to do is get all of this on. Now you'll have seen this on the photographs that I made earlier on, and as I said, did run out of time. So it's all chopped up. So I've got carrots in here, garlic, onions, potatoes. Then I've got what we call turnips, where I'm from, but people call it a swede. We've also got chunks of parsnip as well. So I'll get some water, pop that in there, then get that on the boil. Back in a sec. It might have hurt me off camera then, just saying hello to Dave's wife, because funnily enough, not for the first time, Dave forgot to bring something again. Remember when we went to do the Philly cheesesteaks? We ended up with the wrong kind of bread. Definitely wasn't Dave's fault. And Dave's on breakfast duty tomorrow, so he wanted brioche baps to have with the bacon. So Tamsin's just arrived with the brioche baps. But this is the first time I've used this on here. So it's the 16cm one. There's plenty enough in for all three of us. So what I basically got to do now is, once this gets up to temperature, I'll pour the meat and all of the stock from there into this. And then for the next couple of hours, just keep feeding the firebox with a bit of charcoal, a bit of wood, until all the vegetables go really, really soft. Then stir it around, keep it going, keep topping up with a little bit more water so it doesn't catch at the bottom. And then hopefully in a few hours, we'll have a gorgeous stew. But by then, I'll have put my sleeping bag and everything ready, and we'll have had a good chat. Because that's what it's all about. Us guys getting out, telling the world all our problems, putting the world to rights as well often. Because you know, you have that bit of conflict in the week. And let's see how it goes. I might even tell you how my week's been. It's not been too bad. Today was a bit up and down, but overall I think it's not been too bad. So I'll catch you a bit later. Okay, so you can look at this now. It's thickened up quite a lot. And if you rub the spoon across the bottom, there's nothing rough anymore. So all of the flavour that we had earlier on is now into this sauce. We're going to put in that a little while. I might warm it up with the nano though before I put it into that, because you're going to be like having to bring the temperature back up. However, being as we're not in a rush, I might just not bother and just put it straight into there once the veggies are all done. But the last thing I'll do is put some mushrooms in. And so yeah, I can't wait. So I'll have another look in here. I've just filmed it 2 seconds ago with my own camera. Let's have a quick look. Yep, still getting there, but I need to take it off every now and again and put a few more briquettes and things like that in, a little bit more wood, just to keep on top of it, because it is probably about 1 degree at the most, probably around about freezing now, because there's ice forming on all of the foliage around me, which is all this heather. I've got this on a big piece of bark, so there's nothing going to go down from this and then carry on going. So I'm just going to put a bit more wood and a bit more charcoal on just for now. Make sure to put that somewhere so I don't drop it. I'd be in trouble if I did that. Ooh. So I found using this, wood's great, but if you want to have it a little bit less maintenance and keep going for a bit longer, you need to use the odd barbecue briquette in there. Doesn't have to be the fancy stuff, any really. Just a case of keeping the heat going. That should be plenty for now. I'll pop this back on. It was all shiny before I came out tonight. Won't be shiny in the morning. Chat to you soon. We're boiling nicely now. A few more minutes and I'll put the meat in, and then we'll have to go it really, really gently. But just need to let these go a little bit soft first. Welcome back. So the veg is getting on the boil, so it's about halfway boiled. It's time to add these in there. If I don't fit it all in right now, it doesn't matter, because I can put the rest in a little bit later when it shrinks down a little bit. So I'll just bring it here so it's a little bit easier to do. So he says. Come on, find a spot. And suddenly it was daylight. So I'll get the sauce in, and it's gone dark. And see, I was saying how earlier on how it's gone a bit thicker. Oh yes. You know, I might be able to get it all in one go. All them bits of steak. And you can really smell the ale in the sauce. I'll just leave that for now. Put that to one side. Pop that back on. And once that starts boiling again, I'll give it another stir and bring the vegetables through. I think I might need to steady it up a little bit though, so I'll bring you back in a minute. Hiya, well, stew's on a good way of going now. Just put some more briquettes in, but it's time to make the dumplings. So earlier on you saw the Firebox. Now the Firebox is beef suet, which is an animal fat, which is a bit gruesome this is, but it surrounds the kidneys I believe. Anyway, if they take that off and then dry it and then process it so it's like a fine powder come little tiny nuggets. So you mix that with flour and a bit of salt, then mix it with a bit of water and make a little dough with it. And then you put it into the stew when it's almost done. It all puffs up and it gives you like these dumplings. And now growing up in Stoke where I did, some people call them barmy balls. But yeah, it's just like eating a little fluffy cloud. So I'm just gonna, I've got the flour and the suet mixed in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of water at a time, because you don't want them to go too runny, because you need to be able to form up like a little ball with each one. So a little bit of water at a time. He says I might have just poured a little bit too much in on the first attempt. I think I'll be all right. So just stir it, try and bring it all together. Now this is the pan that I cooked the meat off earlier on, where as I said to you, because I put that water in, sorry, it wasn't water, was it? It was beer. So when I put the beer in, what happens is then it brought all of the bits where the meat had caught onto the bottom, and it just made it, well, the sauce, it's all gone into the pot now, and it's going to be really good. So now what I'm going to do with this is try to be nice and careful and not make it go, hopefully you can see that, not make it go too runny, because what you can do is you can add more. You definitely never ever take more water out. And I can't nip just back home to go and get some more of this mix. So what you want it to be, you want it to be like a bread dough. I really am going to have to buy a light, aren't I? Something else that the wife's going to be really happy about. On some of the forums I go to, I describe her as the fun dragon. The reason she's called a fun dragon is she normally starts going a bit roary and growling at me when I seem to be having fun. But hey, that's just a little nickname for her. This is coming together a little bit better now. But when this is right, what I'll do then is I'll make a couple of little balls. They swell up massively, so you don't want to put big ones in. If you put them in the size of a tennis ball, they'll come out the size of a football, and if you're an American, they're like a basketball. There we get in a little bit more, I think, and then you have to get your hands in it. Yeah, we're not very far. You see how it's getting to be like more lumpy rather than just flour. But as I say, be careful with the amount of water you add in. Oh yeah, we're getting there now. It's almost forming their own little dumplings in there. I've worked in America for quite a lot of 2019 in Florida. And we used to go for meals and we used to have something similar to these. In my opinion, not quite as nice, and they called them hush puppies, but they seem to be fried. So I'm wondering if they're probably the same. If you're American and you know what a hush puppy is, let me know if I'm on the right kind of wavelength. Oh, it's definitely bubbling now. I'll have to take over that. Give it a bit of a stir. Oh, if you could smell this, give me a second and I'll show you. Oh yes, you can definitely smell the beer. Definitely. You know what, I'm going to put this on now without the lid on so that it can start to reduce. Oh, it is smelling fantastic. It's the only thing really that I ever put mussels in. I mean, not mussels, sorry. Celery, apart from when I do mussels. I put a bit of celery in mussels as well. Let's see if one of them can shine a bit of light. Do us a favour, shine a bit of light on here. And I'm going to grab this a bit with the tripod so you can see the stew, stroke casserole. Yes. And then give it a better view of the dumpling mix. You see how it's starting to come together? It's almost there. So if you look at that, you see it bubbling. Oh yes. Oh. So you can see Mo in the background. He's just making a brew, which would be nice. Apparently I got outvoted. It's a bit too early to start on the wine. Although it's pitch black, it makes you think it's later. It's only 10 to 6. So a little bit more water in here. Little tiny drop. Because I think the best part there. Yeah, don't need any more water now. So it's fingers time. So bring it all together. It's like one big doughy mass, which I'll show you in a sec. So if you see that, it's just one big ball. What I'll do now, I'll break that into chunks. 3 of us, so I'll probably do 6. You know, we might get 7 out of this. Someone will have to have an extra one. That'll be me. There we go. 7 little dumplings for when this is ready. So, can you see them now? They'll be really fluffy later on. Anyway, I'll catch you soon. Right then, so we've just had a chat, which is quite good. Spoke about the week, and the casserole's now ready, and it's smelling gorgeous. So I'm going to put the dumplings in, let them boil for 15 minutes, then they go all nice and fluffy, and then it'll be time to eat it all. But it's smelling gorgeous. Make them nice and round and just drop them in. So if you look at them at the moment, they're about the size of a golf ball, but they won't be that size when they're finished. Hopefully, anyway. Last one. You need to pop them under. Tell you what though, I've forgotten to put the mushrooms in. However, I think we'll cope without the mushrooms because we can have them with the bacon in the morning. So, need to leave them for 15 minutes. So I'll bring you back when we serve them up and show you how much bigger they've got. See you in a minute. Right then, so we've just had a chat, which is quite good. Spoke about the week, and the casserole's now ready, and it's smelling gorgeous. So I'm going to put the dumplings in, let them boil for 15 minutes, then they go all nice and fluffy, and then it'll be time to eat it all. But it's smelling gorgeous. So make them nice and round and just drop them in. So if you look at them at the moment, they're about the size of a golf ball, but they won't be that size when they're finished. Hopefully, anyway. Last one. You need to pop them under. Tell you what though, I've forgotten to put the mushrooms in. However, I think we'll cope without the mushrooms because we can have them with the bacon in the morning. So, need to leave them for 15 minutes. So I'll bring you back when we serve them up and show you how much bigger they've got. So, look at them. They've already grown and they're floating to the top, which isn't a problem. But yeah, so they need to cook all the way through because, as I say, they do contain soup. Look at that one. Gorgeous these things are. Just spoke to Mo about these and he's never had them before. So I'm trying to convince him that he should do without because he probably won't like them. However, he didn't fall for that. So look at that, they just float straight back up. Oh yes. So I'll leave those alone now for another 10 minutes. And then we come back and have our steak casserole and dumplings. See you in a bit. Here you go, we're done. So we've got some cornbread, a little bit of chilli in it. A couple of gallons of red wine, yes. But check the size of them dumplings. Now remember, they only went in the size of a golf ball and they're massive. Can't wait. So what we're going to do now, we're going to dish up. And once we've dished up, we're going to eat it and then we'll do the thumbs up and thumbs down. Right then, here we go. Moment of truth. Being as I made it, I'm having the biggest dumplings. And I get 3. Yes. That was a good one. Can't believe you've never had dumplings before, man.
I know. It's a world first.
Gorgeous. Oh, yes. All the veg is definitely done. You know what? It's probably going to be easier if I just tip it up and pour it, isn't it?
Yeah, I just tip it in.
Do you want to grab me gloves from over there, Dave?
Okay.
Well, it's all gone dark. We'll be back. Sorry, buddy. Hit me with the lights, Dave. One will be fine. Okay. Just for the sauce at first. Oh. Try and put that one a bit. So what we'll do now is get to the business end and get some of that steak and veg out. Yes. I might need a bigger spoon next time. That's enough for me for a bit. So being as it's all been in there for that long, it's all gone really, it smells gorgeous, but nothing's stuck to the bottom because you just keep moving it around all the time. Right then, so we're going to eat this and we'll give you the thumbs up and thumbs down in a little while. Put that back on there, keep it warm. Catch you in a bit. So we finished our first portion of stew anyway. There's a bit left, so we might have that a bit later. Warm it back up on the firebox. I've had a bit of red wine, we're going to have a bit more. So now it's that thing that we always do, we give it the thumbs up or the thumbs down. So steak casserole with dumplings. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up. Love the dumplings.
Definitely. Yes. Cheers everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.